Greetings to you, people of Coahuila. This is Ann Carson from Iceland, and I am greeting you, thanking you for awarding me the prize, the Manuel Acuña Prize, which came as a total surprise to me and a delight and a great honor. So thank you. I wanted to send you for your festival a small reading, which I did a while ago when I was living in a leafy green place, so I do hope that it's cheering for you, and also that someday I might meet you in your place and do a person-to-person reading like we used to do in the old days. Thank you. Bye.
Hi everybody, this is Ann Carson. I'm doing a reading for you. It's a piece I wrote some years ago called The Life of Towns. And the subject of it is more or less, what is a town? How do towns constitute themselves? How does something come to think of itself as a town? And I thought it would be interesting to listen to it again, because nowadays, in this strange interval we're living, it's as if our towns have contracted upon us. We're each living as a town in ourself. So I like to think again about some of these towns. The Life of Towns, Introduction. Towns are the illusion that things hang together somehow. My pear, your winter. I am a scholar of towns. To explain what I do is simple enough. A scholar is someone who takes a position, from which position certain lines become visible. You will at first think I'm painting the lines myself. It's not so. I merely know where to stand to see the lines that are there. And it's a mysterious thing. It is a very mysterious thing, how those lines do paint themselves. Before there were any edges or angles or vision, who was there to ask the questions? Well, let's not get carried away with exegesis. A scholar is someone who knows how to limit herself to the matter at hand. So, in summary, we are objects in a wind that stopped, is my view. There are regular towns and irregular towns. There are wounded towns and sober towns and fiercely remembered towns. There are towns that are passionate but battle on. There are towns where the snow slides from the roofs of the buildings with such force that victims are killed. But there are no empty towns, just empty scholars. And there is no regret. Let's move along. Apostle Town. After your death it was windy every day opposed us like a wall. We went shouting sideways at one another along the road. It was useless. The spaces between us got hard. They are empty spaces, and yet they are solid and black and grievous as gaps between the teeth of an old woman you loved years ago when she was beautiful, the nerves pouring around in her like palace fire. Town of spring once again. Spring is always like what it used to be, said an old Chinese man. Rain hissed down the windows. Longings from a great distance reached us. Town of Bathsheba's Crossing. Inside a room in Amsterdam, Rembrandt painted a drop of life. Inside the drop, he painted Rembrandt's stranger. Dressed as a woman, rippling with nakedness, she has a letter in her hand. She is traveling out of a thought towards us. Her foam arrives. Before her, even when he paints Rembrandt's stranger, as Rembrandt, he shows him bewildered and tousled as if just in from journeys on tracks and side roads. Wolftown. Let tigers kill them, let bears kill them, let tapeworms and roundworms and heartworms kill them, let them kill each other, let porcupine quills kill them, let salmon poisoning kill them, let them cut their tongues on a bone and bleed to death, let them freeze, let eagles snatch them when young, let a wind-blown seed bury itself in their inner ear, destroying equilibrium, let them have very good ears, yes, hearing a cloud pass overhead. September Town. One fear I have is that the sound of the cicadas out in the blackness zone is going to crush my head flat as a piece of paper. Then some night I'll be expected to go ahead with normal tasks anyway, mending the screen door, saving my brother from the police. Memory Town. In each one of you I paint, I find a buried site of radioactive material. You think 8 miles down is enough? 15 miles? 40 miles? Town of the sound of a twig breaking. Their faces I thought were knives, the way they pointed them at me and waited. A hunter is someone who listens so hard to his prey it pulls the weapon out of his hand and impales itself. A town I have heard of. In the middle of nowhere. Where would that be? Nice and quiet. A rabbit hopping across. Nothing on the stove. Desert town. When the sage came back in from the desert, he propped up his disciples again like sparrows on a clothesline. Some had fallen into despair. This puzzled him. In the desert where he baked his heart were no shadows, no up and down to remind him how they depended on him. A boy died in his arms. It is very expensive, he thought, to come back. He began to conform to the cutting-away ways of this world. A fire was roaring up inside him, his bones by now liquid, and he saw ahead of him waiting, nothing else, waiting itself. Tolerance Town. Gold cup 1, woman 2. Gold bowl 1, woman 1. Gold bowl 1, woman 1. Gold cup 1, woman 1. Gold beaker 1, man 1. Gold bowl 1, man 1. Gold cup 1, woman 1. Gold cup 1. Town of the Sigh Symphony. Do you hear sighing? Do you wake amid a sigh? Radio sighs FM, AM. Short wave sighs crackle in from the Atlantic. Hot sighs steam in the dawn. People kissing stop to sigh, then kiss again. Doctors sigh into wounds and the bloodstream is changed forever. Flowers sigh and 2 noon bees float backwards. Is it doubt? Is it disappointment? The world didn't owe me anything. Leaves came sighing in the door. Bits of girls sigh like men. Forgeries sigh twice. Balthus sighs and lies about it, claiming it was Byron's sigh. A sigh may come too late. Is it better than screaming? Give me all your sighs for $4 or $5. A sigh is weightless, yet it may interrupt the broadcast. Can you abstain? What is that hush that carries itself up each sigh? We hunt together, the sigh and I, sport of kings. To want to stop is beyond us. The more sighs shine, the more I'm in trouble. Some kind of silvery stuff. You thought it was the sea. Town of the shortness of the short talk. Early one morning, words were missing. Before that, words were not. Facts were, faces were. In a good story, Aristotle tells us, everything that happens is pushed by something else. The marks construct an instant of nature, gradually, without the boredom of a story. I emphasize this. I will do anything to avoid boredom. It is the task of a lifetime. You can never know enough, never work enough, never use the infinitives and participles oddly enough, never impede the movement harshly enough, never leave the mind quickly enough. Town of my farewell to you. Oh, look, what 1,000 blue, 1,000 white, 1,000 blue, 1,000 white, 1,000 blue, 1,000 white, 1,000 blue, 1,000 white, 1,000 blue wind today, and 2 arms blowing down the road. Farewell.